That gleaming chrome hood ornament, the smell of leather bench seats, the satisfying click of a metal dashboard. Classic cars have a charm modern vehicles just can't replicate. But here's what most people don't realize. If you tried to build many of these vintage beauties today, you'd be breaking the law. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into 20 classic car features that would land manufacturers in serious legal trouble if they tried to produce them now. Some were banned for obvious safety reasons, others got caught up in environmental regulations, and a few might actually surprise you. Let's get started. Number 20. Pop-up headlights. Let's kick things off with one of the most beloved design features, pop-up headlights. Cars like the Mazda RX-7, Chevrolet Corvette C4, and Toyota Supra made these iconic. They looked sleek, aerodynamic, and frankly, just cool. But here's the problem. European pedestrian safety studies found that pop-up headlights posed serious injury risks. When extended, these headlights created sharp, protruding edges that could severely harm anyone struck by the vehicle. While they're not technically banned in the United States, manufacturers abandoned them because meeting global safety standards became too complicated. Why design two different versions of the same car when you can just eliminate the feature altogether? The last production car with pop-up headlights was the 2004 Corvette C5. Today, if you want that aerodynamic look, manufacturers use flush-mounted LED arrays that stay fixed in place. Number 19. Metal dashboards. Picture this. You're cruising in a 1950s Buick with its spectacular chrome dashboard, complete with sweeping metallic surfaces and glitzy radio panels. Absolutely gorgeous. Also, absolutely deadly. Metal dashboards became strictly illegal once safety regulators realized what happens during a collision. Without any padding or energy absorption, these chrome beauties turned into unforgiving impact surfaces. During accidents, drivers and passengers would slam into solid metal, causing severe head injuries and facial trauma. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration now requires dashboards to be padded and designed to deform upon impact. The organic, gray padded look might not have the same visual appeal as those chrome salads from the 1950s, but they've saved countless lives. Sometimes function really does need to trump form. Number 18. Hood ornaments. Cadillac's Goddess, Jaguar's Leaping Cat, Rolls-Royce's Spirit of Ecstasy. These finely crafted hood ornaments were symbols of prestige and elegance, adding personality to the front of classic automobiles. The problem? Pedestrian safety. As road speeds increased and urban traffic grew denser, these metallic sculptures with their streamlined shapes and pointed edges became serious hazards. In pedestrian accidents, these decorative elements could cause severe injuries or worse. Regulations emerged requiring exterior components to be designed with pedestrian impact in mind. Modern vehicles must have rounded, energy-absorbing front ends. Hood ornaments had to go. While some luxury brands like Rolls-Royce have found workarounds with retractable ornaments that disappear upon impact, the classic fixed metal sculptures are a thing of the past. Number 17. Bench seats. Nothing says classic American car quite like a front bench seat. The 1970 Dodge Charger, Chevrolet Impala, and countless other vehicles featured these spacious seating arrangements that could fit 3 people across. While bench seats themselves aren't illegal, the way they were implemented back then would violate modern regulations. These seats lacked proper individual restraints, headrests, and the structural support required by current safety standards. The absence of a center console meant no separation between passengers, making it harder to properly secure everyone with adequate seatbelt systems. Modern vehicles require seats designed for specific restraint systems, including 3-point seatbelts, headrests to prevent whiplash, and structures that can handle side impact forces. The classic bench seat design simply can't accommodate these requirements without major modifications. Number 16. No seatbelts. Hard to believe, but there was actually a time when seatbelts weren't standard equipment. Many pre-1968 vehicles rolled off the assembly line without any restraints whatsoever. Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 208. which took effect January 1st, 1968, changed everything. This landmark regulation required all passenger vehicles to include seatbelt anchorage points and, at minimum, lap belts for front seats. By the mid-1960s, forward-thinking manufacturers had already started installing them, but it wasn't mandatory until federal law stepped in. Today's vehicles must have 3-point seatbelts for all seating positions, with specific regulations about anchor point strength, webbing material, and buckle design. The law has evolved so much that vehicles built before seatbelt requirements are grandfathered in under exemptions, meaning you can legally drive them without belts in most states, but no new vehicle could be manufactured this way. Number 15. Rigid frames without crumple zones. Classic cars were built like tanks, with heavy, rigid frames based on the belief that an unyielding structure offered the best protection. The 1959 Chevrolet Bel Air embodied this philosophy perfectly. Unfortunately, physics doesn't work that way. When a rigid frame vehicle crashes, all that kinetic energy transfers directly into the passenger compartment, subjecting occupants to extreme forces. Modern safety engineering takes the opposite approach. Crumple zones are designed to deform in a controlled manner, absorbing impact energy before it reaches the passengers. Current regulations require specific crash test performance standards. Vehicles must protect occupants in frontal, side, rear, and rollover impacts. Rigid frame construction simply can't meet these requirements. The beautiful heavy steel construction of vintage cars would fail modern crash tests spectacularly. Number 14. Non-reinforced doors. Classic car doors often look substantial but provided minimal protection in side impact collisions. Without internal reinforcement beams, these doors offered passengers almost no defense against lateral crashes. As safety engineering evolved, regulations began requiring side impact door beams made from high-strength steel. These beams disperse crash forces and prevent door intrusion into the passenger compartment. Modern vehicles also incorporate side airbags and specialized door structures that work together as a complete protection system. Vintage cars with their unreinforced doors would never pass current side impact crash tests, which evaluate how well vehicles protect occupants when struck from the side. Number 13. No front airbags. Step inside a classic car from the 1960s or 70s, and you'll notice something conspicuously absent from the steering wheel: an airbag. For decades, vehicles had nothing but a solid steering wheel between the driver and catastrophic injury during frontal collisions. That changed dramatically with the Intermodal Surface Transportation Efficiency Act of 1991. This landmark legislation required dual front airbags in all passenger cars by September 1st. 1997, with light trucks following a year later. Before this mandate, airbags were rare luxury features found only in high-end vehicles. The impact has been staggering. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, front airbags have saved over 50,000 lives between 1987 and 2017. When combined with seatbelts, they reduce the risk of dying in head-on collisions by approximately 30%. Today, manufacturing any vehicle without front airbags is absolutely illegal. Modern regulations require these systems as standard equipment, along with sophisticated crash sensors that determine when and how forcefully to deploy them. Classic cars with their airbag-free steering wheels represent a bygone era when drivers had nothing but luck and maybe a lap belt for protection. Number 12. Fender-mounted mirrors. Some classic cars featured side mirrors mounted on the fenders, positioned toward the front of the vehicle. These actually provided better visibility by reducing blind spots compared to door-mounted mirrors. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration had other ideas. Regulations require rear-view mirrors to be adjustable by tilting in both horizontal and vertical directions from the driver's seated position. Fender-mounted mirrors sit too far from the driver to adjust manually while seated, effectively making them illegal. This regulation assumes you need to adjust your mirrors on the fly in case electric mechanisms fail. While the logic makes sense, it eliminated a design that arguably offered superior visibility. Number 11. Leaded gasoline. This one's about fuel rather than a physical feature, but it directly affected classic car design. For decades, tetraethyl lead was added to gasoline to increase octane and prevent engine knock. It also protected exhaust valve seats from excessive wear. The problem? Lead is highly toxic, especially to children's developing brains. Beyond health concerns, leaded gasoline also destroyed catalytic converters, which became mandatory for emissions control under the Clean Air Act of 1970. Beginning with 1975 model year vehicles, leaded gasoline was phased out for on-road use. California banned it in 1992, and by 1996, it was illegal nationwide for passenger vehicles. While still available for aircraft, racing cars, and farm equipment, you can't legally fuel up your daily driver with leaded gas. Classic car owners now use lead substitute additives to protect their engines, or they rebuild engines with hardened valve seats designed for unleaded fuel. Number 10. Asbestos brake pads. Once praised for their durability and heat resistance, asbestos brake pads were an industry standard. They performed well and lasted long. What could go wrong? Everything, it turns out. Asbestos releases harmful dust particles when brake pads wear down, causing severe respiratory illnesses, including mesothelioma and lung cancer. Mechanics and drivers who regularly worked with these components faced serious health risks. Asbestos brake pads were phased out and banned for automotive use. Modern brake pads use ceramic, semi-metallic, or organic compounds that provide excellent stopping power without the toxic side effects. The performance is actually better, and nobody's lungs are being destroyed in the process. Number 9. Non-collapsible steering columns. Early steering wheels connected directly to solid, rigid steering columns. In a frontal collision, these non-collapsible columns would impale the driver or cause catastrophic chest and abdominal injuries. Safety regulations now require collapsible steering columns that compress or fold during impact, reducing the force transferred to the driver. Combined with airbags, these systems have dramatically reduced steering-related fatalities. The solid steering wheels without airbags that characterized classic cars would never meet current safety standards. Modern steering systems incorporate multiple safety features, including breakaway mounts, energy-absorbing materials, and dual-stage airbags. Number 8. No head restraints. That single word explains why head restraints became mandatory. Before these features were standard, rear-end collisions commonly resulted in severe neck injuries as occupants' heads snapped backward violently. Early car seats were stylish but rudimentary, offering no protection for the head and neck. It took decades for the industry to adopt adjustable headrests, which eventually became mandatory safety equipment. Current regulations require head restraints for all seating positions, with specific standards for height, positioning, and energy absorption. The transformation of head restraints from luxury options to required safety features has prevented countless injuries. Number 7. Exposed fuel cap without tethers. Remember when gas caps weren't attached to anything? You'd unscrew them, set them on the roof while fueling, then either screw them back on or drive away with them still sitting on top of your car. We've all been there. Modern regulations require tethered fuel caps or capless fuel systems. Beyond preventing lost caps, these systems reduce fuel vapor emissions. The capless systems on newer vehicles include spring-loaded seals that prevent fuel spillage and capture vapors that would otherwise escape. While you won't get arrested for having a non-tethered cap on your classic car, new vehicles must comply with these environmental regulations designed to reduce air pollution from evaporating gasoline. Number 6. Single-circuit braking systems. Classic cars typically used single-circuit brake systems, one master cylinder, one hydraulic circuit controlling all 4 wheels. If you developed a leak anywhere in the system, you lost all braking power. Not ideal. Federal safety standards now require dual-circuit braking systems that split the hydraulics between front and rear or diagonally between wheels. If one circuit fails, the other maintains partial braking capability. This redundancy has prevented countless accidents. Single-circuit systems would never pass modern safety certifications. The risk is simply too great when a mechanical failure means complete brake loss. Number 5. Standard glass windows. Pre-regulation cars use standard glass inside and rear windows. During accidents, this glass would shatter into large, sharp, dangerous shards that could cause severe lacerations. Modern vehicles must use either tempered glass, which breaks into small, relatively dull pieces, or laminated glass, which holds fragments in place, even when broken. Windshields use laminated glass specifically to prevent occupants from being ejected during collisions. The difference is dramatic. Standard glass created laceration hazards in even minor accidents. Safety glass prevents these injuries and keeps the structural integrity of the vehicle intact during crashes. Number 4. Chrome bumpers. Those massive chrome bumpers defined the aesthetic of classic American cars. They looked fantastic but had a serious weakness. They were designed primarily for appearance, not collision protection. In the 1970s, bumper standards changed to require structures capable of withstanding harder impacts without damage to safety systems. This led to the replacement of decorative chrome bumpers with sturdier steel and aluminum structures, typically wrapped in plastic outer shells. The new bumpers had to protect the vehicle in low-speed collisions while also meeting pedestrian safety standards. Chrome's rigid, unforgiving nature couldn't accommodate these requirements. We lost the aesthetic appeal, but gained significantly better crash protection. Number 3. Vent windows. No defrosters. Those small triangular vent windows on classic cars served as the primary ventilation system before air conditioning became standard. Fresh air was great, but many older vehicles lacked proper defroster systems for the windshield and rear window. Modern vehicles must have effective defrosting and defogging systems for both front and rear windows. This isn't just about comfort. It's a critical safety feature that ensures visibility in cold or humid conditions. Regulations specify the defrost system's performance, requiring it to clear specific areas of the windshield within defined timeframes. The simple vent windows of classic cars wouldn't meet these requirements. Number 2. No rear-view cameras. As of May 2018, all new vehicles sold in the United States must include rear-view cameras. This regulation came after studies showed backup accidents caused hundreds of deaths and thousands of injuries annually, many involving children too small to see behind larger vehicles. Classic cars obviously lack this technology. While owners aren't required to retrofit cameras, any new vehicle produced today must have this feature as standard equipment. The regulation has already demonstrated measurable improvements in preventing backup accidents. Combined with parking sensors and blind spot monitoring, these systems represent safety features that simply didn't exist in the classic car era. Number 1. High-emission exhaust systems. Classic cars weren't designed with environmental concerns in mind. Many featured exhaust systems without catalytic converters, producing significantly higher emissions of carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and hydrocarbons compared to modern vehicles. The Clean Air Act and subsequent emissions regulations established strict limits on pollutants. Catalytic converters became mandatory, transforming harmful emissions into water, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen gas. Modern vehicles also incorporate oxygen sensors, computer-controlled fuel injection, and evaporative emission controls. While classic cars often receive exemptions from emissions testing depending on state regulations, no new vehicle could be manufactured with such high-emission exhaust systems. Environmental standards have transformed automotive engineering completely, so there you have it, 20 classic car features that wouldn't make it past today's regulations. From pop-up headlights to high-emission exhaust systems, these features defined an era that prioritized style and performance over safety and environmental impact. While we might miss the aesthetic charm of hood ornaments and chrome bumpers, these changes have made driving dramatically safer. Traffic fatalities have decreased significantly, air quality has improved, and modern vehicles protect occupants in ways classic cars simply couldn't. What classic car feature do you miss most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more automotive content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.